Your husband needs to say sorry every single day. Okay? That's the topic. And so we're going to be, why is that? It's actually, everyone who I've said it to is like, it's so true, it's so true. Okay? So why is that? Why, and what's going on here, and how do we make this better? Okay, so I'm going to start with a story. I have a student who came to me and they said, Leah, I'm beside myself. I don't know what to do. Here's the story. My husband, it's almost like he doesn't, I'm a blip on the radar, not a blip on the radar. He thinks he's like a single guy. He'll come into the room and it'll like be warm, and so we'll turn the heat off. I'm freezing. He'll turn the heat off. He'll go around and he'll shut lights off around the house to save money. Okay, I hear it. But how about saying, are you done in the kitchen, dear? No, he just goes around shutting things off as if I don't even exist. Also, my husband will do stuff like he'll accept invitations to things. He'll say, oh, yeah, we'd love to come, without consulting me, whether I like the people, whether I want to go, whether I've got other plans. He'll also invite people without consulting me. Let me see if I hit everything she said. Oh, here's the thing that I thought was like, whatever. He goes to the grocery store, and she said to me, Leah, he comes home and he's got 2 bags of groceries. He likes these kind of chia drinks, and he whatever, he brings his stuff in. Like, he was at the grocery store for however long, 20 minutes, a half an hour. He didn't text me or call and say, hey, would you like me to bring something? So now, what do we all think of this? This is a guy who definitely needs to be saying sorry every single day. Okay? Open and shut case? Absolutely. We're going to find out a little differently as we go along, but that's what we're starting. We're with this lady. Everybody's with us, right?
Yes,
yeah.
Yes.
Hello.
But Leah, that sounded like me.
Yeah. Which you do that to your husband?
Meaning every one of those examples. I make plans and I forget to tell him, and I go get myself lunch and I forget to ask him, and I walk in with my nice meal, and he's sitting over there and he's like, I'm starving, what'd you get? And I'm like, oh my God.
Yeah.
I forgot about you completely.
Okay, so fine.
So hello, no joke, a lot of work. Leah, this show is
for you. Okay, but here's the thing. We're going to see, there is workarounds.
Okay.
We're going to give you workarounds on this, okay? So now we're going to start this whole thing. We're going to start with a quiz. Okay. The question, the overriding question we want to look at is the husband, or Sarit in this case, is the husband being totally thoughtless, or is this normal husband and or Sarit behavior? No, okay, look, a lot of women are like this or whatever. Is it normal human behavior? We're going to deal with it with a husband because it's much more common in a husband than it is in a wife. I don't know why that is, but that's across the board. If you were to quiz 1,000 people, it's more the husband who's thoughtless about these things than it is a woman. A woman sort of is multitasking. She's like, oh yeah, this one, he's going to eat lunch tomorrow. He's going to do, a little bit, except with some exceptions. Okay, so now, here's the quiz. Question number 1 on the quiz. You've been waiting 20 minutes to talk to your husband. It's late at night. You are exhausted. You've had it. You've just served dinner. You've just whatever. Now you're on your computer finishing up some work, waiting for your husband to finish so you can talk to him before he goes to bed. And all of a sudden, you hear your husband from down the hallway, I'm going to bed. Good night. Door slams. You're like, hello? Like, do I even exist? So the question is, what are you feeling in that moment? Right, comment below.
Yes.
I want to hear from you.
Let's go, people.
Let's
comment
Star
in the
6
comment
from
box.
The teleconference.
Yes.
What are you
people,
feeling? He
6.
just totally, like you're on the computer. You've been waiting for him for 20 minutes to finish all the little things he was doing, and he was, whatever. I was going to say he was changing a light bulb. He was likely not changing. He was likely on Candy Crush or something like that. Okay, so and he slams the door, and you're just sitting there feeling like, do I exist or not? What are you feeling? Any answers?
We've got do I exist?
Do I exist?
Non-existent.
Okay, fine. Non-existent.
That seems to be a big one.
Okay. So here's the thing. The feelings are, it's not just that he has zero clue that you exist. It's also in that situation, you can't possibly ever imagine yourself being so thoughtless. So the things that make us so upset at our husband, and this is a little clue to what the answer to this dilemma is understanding, is our husband, we're going to look at this, is our husband thoughtless or clueless? If he's thoughtless and he just isn't thinking about it, right? He turns the heat on and off, and he makes reservations. He goes to the grocery store, doesn't even think of us. We're not a blip on his radar, okay? If he's thoughtless, that is enormously painful. It's like it just hurts. It just feels like you don't exist, and like he doesn't care about you, and that he doesn't love you, right? If it's just that that's the way God made him, is clueless. It's not that he's excused for all of this bad behavior or this thoughtless behavior, but at least it's not something you can necessarily take personally and get personal pain from. And that's what we want to learn here today. We want to learn how to bolster ourselves so when the million little thoughtless things our husband does every day, that we aren't taking it personally, where he's just beating us down and making us feel worse and worse. We can turn the whole thing around by just understanding that he's clueless. So let's go to quiz to number 2. Okay. By the way, a lot of this behavior is labeled in our mind as selfish behavior by our husband. He's selfish. He doesn't think of us. He doesn't think of it. He's just selfish. He's only wrapped up in his own planet. Okay. That might be true, okay? But again, that is causing ourselves a lot of pain that doesn't necessarily have to be there. So the pain that we associate with these types of things, we're going to try and shift that. Quiz number 2. You're going on a family picnic. You've got everyone dressed. You got the lunches made. You put a load of laundry up so it would be going while you went on the picnic. You got everybody into the car. You closed up the house. You got everybody into the car. You buckled everybody in. You're sitting in the car, and your husband saunters. He finishes up an email, right? He saunters into the car, and you're driving off to your adventure. Your husband turns to you, and he says, "What? Can I have a water bottle, please?" And you're like, "Of course, the one thing you didn't do." And you say, "Oh, I forgot the water bottles." And he goes, "I can't believe you forgot the water bottles." What are you feeling in that moment? Maybe don't say.
Yeah,
right?
Like you want to push him out of the car door.
Right.
Now, ladies, comment. What are you feeling?
What are you feeling at that moment when your husband has said, "Where's the water bottle?"
And basically, you've done everything.
You've done everything.
You prepared everything.
He showed up and got in the car.
Right, he literally showed up and did
you
nothing.
didn't
You
have
had
the
the
waters.
kids in, everything,
Right.
and you just
Buckled
forgot
in.
the waters.
You just forgot the waters. So what are you feeling?
Where's the water bottle? It's in the house.
Yes, thank you.
Go.
Bye-bye.
There you go.
Annoyed.
So,
We're
okay.
getting, Ricky said annoyed.
Annoyed,
Yeah.
annoyed.
Beyond.
Annoyed is just one sliver, like angry. It's like, you know what I mean? It's like the very fine line between annoyed and angry. But here's the problem. If it was me and my husband did that, right, I'd be like, "I didn't bring the water bottles. I'm sorry. We're going to have to pick them up at the park, or go to 7-Eleven or something like that." Now we need a sponsorship from
Yeah,
7-Eleven.
exactly. 7-Eleven.
Right? So, whatever, but forget about it. Am I enjoying myself in that picnic? Am I having like anything to do with him? Am I gritting my teeth? Am I like going to have a joyous time? Absolutely not. Because my husband non-existed me. He totally didn't get me. So why is a husband having to say "I'm sorry" all the time? Because he has this propensity to invisibilize us. What were you going to say?
Aliza actually says, similar to how you were just describing it, like it all wasn't worth it. Meaning you can sit there and excuse him, but then the whole trip is ruined and it feels like, why did I even bother?
Why am I even going?
Right.
Whatever.
Why
The kids
are
are
we
yelling in the back
bothering?
thing, and you're
Correct.
like, can you just drop me off at the curb? You take him to the picnic. You feed them. Hello. Yeah, exactly. Got it.
Yeah.
Okay, fine.
Yeah.
So here, this is again more evidence that men are, not all men, but a lot of the time, men are clueless. It's not that he's thoughtless or mean. Do we think he's mean? Do we think he's like purposely trying to make you feel horrible? No, he's just clueless. Now, being clueless is not terrific, but it's not nearly as bad as if he's thoughtless and mean. Okay. The next one. Oh, here we are. Oh, wait, I missed one. Did I? No, here it is. Okay, here's quiz number 3. You just spent all day cooking for the whole extended family. You made briskets and trays of vegetables and side dishes and everything, soup to nuts, everything there. But your sister-in-law happened to bring the chocolate mousse, and it's a really good recipe for chocolate mousse. If anyone has a chocolate mousse recipe, whatever, share it. We'd love to send it in. We'll post it. Okay, so your sister-in-law made chocolate mousse, and your husband is eating it, and after this nice meal that you spent all day making, he's eating the mousse, and he turns to his sister and he says, "This was the highlight of the whole meal." And right. What are you feeling in the moment? Comment below. What are you feeling? I want to hear.
Yeah,
I'm
comment,
listening.
ladies. I think the ladies
Star
at
6.
this point just want to ring their husbands.
Yes,
and
right.
throw
Throw
them
them out the window. What are you feeling? What are you feeling?
Like chopped liver?
Like chopped
Oh
liver.
my God!
Right, yeah.
The one thing you
You see
didn't
it.
make.
The one thing you didn't make, right? So here's the thing. The fact that he did this cruel thing, right? It looks cruel. It sounds cruel. It feels cruel, okay? Is that because he deliberately wanted to hurt you, or is it because he's clueless? That's the question.
Oh, Ricky says, by the way, not appreciated. OMG, that's a big one for us. The ladies
Yeah.
talk show and appreciation.
Appreciation, right,
Not
right.
When do women ever fully feel
feel
appreciated?
appreciated. Okay, good.
And SRS actually said, SRS Design said, invisible and unappreciated.
Yeah. Just pain. It's just pain. And also, again, if it feels like it's deliberate, like any human being would have known that is a stupid thing to say. I mean, like, how could... So if he doesn't know that, it must mean he meant it on purpose. It must mean it's deliberate. And again, where the pain comes from is him being thoughtless. If he's thoughtless, totally understandable. If he's clueless, are you feeling what I'm saying? If it's because he's clueless, because he just doesn't get it, right? That's a very different feeling than if he's thoughtless. Both can be painful, but just not, on a scale. If he's thoughtless or he's trying to be mean, that feels like 100. Boom, like here, we got the.
Yeah.
Boom, okay? It feels like he's really, really getting you, okay? If he does it just because he's just a space cadet, he didn't realize how you feel, and oh, really, dear? And believe me, sometimes you can tell them 100 times, don't compliment other people's food superlative to mine or whatever.
Yeah.
He's still going to do it, right? It's just a cluelessness. And, is this called blaming the victim? Like, wait a minute, Leah, are you trying to tell me that he can get away with saying that, and I'm just supposed to adjust my attitude and my thinking so that he can get away with what he's doing? Is that what you're trying to say, Leah? No, it's not blaming the victim. It's giving you the power and the tools to not feel the pain for something that is inadvertent. And there could be other things the husband might say that are mean. He could say, I really don't think you look nice today, or I don't know. He can say, people are capable of saying mean things. A lot of the things that we take as mean things that they're saying, it's not meanness, it's cluelessness. And once you make that shift from thinking that it's thoughtless anger and meanness to that he's clueless, now a whole new vista of how to deal with this is open up to you. And I'm going to show you exactly how to do. Ready? Okay.
Yes.
Very good.
Yes. And teleconference people, I opened up the Q&A line, so *6 if you want to comment or share.
Yeah,
Love
very
to
good.
hear from
We
you.
love to hear.
Those
Okay,
comments
fine.
coming.
There we go. Okay. Now, let's say...
Carolina said you already said it all when you asking all the things that you feel. She's like, you covered it all. Because it's all the feelings.
Yeah, very good. Thank you very much for commenting. Appreciate it. Okay. So, let's say we could even answer the question whether they're right or wrong, because pretty much it's pretty open and shut case. They're wrong. Their behavior is wrong, and what they said was wrong, and what they did was wrong. We got it. We're wrong. They're wrong. We're right. Yay! What does that do for us? Where are we then? Does that like make us closer to them? Does that make us, no. Knowing that we're right and they're wrong, maybe we get a little personal satisfaction, okay? So, but it doesn't make us closer to our husband, and it doesn't get what we really want, which is appreciation and not being annoyed and feeling like they get us, okay? So, whether we can say that it's thoughtlessness or selfishness or they're right or wrong, we can all agree that whatever is going on, we're overly hurt by it, and it'd be nice to have some tools not to be hurt by it. And by the way, the beautiful thing about this is when you start using the tools to not be so hurt by it, your husband's behavior, I was going to say will change, can change, will likely change, will most likely change. I mean, there's no guarantees in life, but by you not making him wrong, and now you're sitting in the seat and he's got no water bottle and he also doesn't have you, like in that situation, you being able to deal with his cluelessness will allow you to be closer to him. Okay, so when you are trying to get your husband to change, if you're trying to get him to be more what's the opposite of clueless?
Clued in.
Clued in. Unthoughtfulness. Be more thoughtful, attentive. Okay, fine.
Read the room, man.
That's it. But that's it. So when you want him to be attentive to you or whatever, right? For you making him bad and wrong and saying, "Oh, you did it again," and that's like trying to get somebody to change. So let's say you, right? I were to say, "Listen, I really read this report that says you need to, sugar is bad for you and coffee is bad for you. So by tomorrow, I expect nobody to be eating sugar or coffee." Okay, great. Not going to be very successful. Okay, so what do? You have to ease someone into it. You have to talk to somebody into it. Changing is very, very hard. So he's been like this his whole life, and so has, we've been our way our whole life. Hopefully we're all growing and changing. Hopefully that's one of our motives in life is to be better people each and every day. God willing, we're all in the past, and you're here, which means you're doing something about it. So that's great, because we're learning how to be better people and be closer to our husband and closer to everybody around us that we want to be close to. So the issue is, when you're trying to get somebody to change, if let's say somebody would come along and let's say every day you take your clothes off and you pile it over the back of a chair, right? And someone would come in, or your mother-in-law would say, you really shouldn't pile your clothes off in the middle of the chair, because now you're holding it twice. You're taking it when it's off you, then you have to go and remember to do it, and it just piles and piles and piles. You're much better while it's off you, right? You get the hanger, and you can tell somebody taught this to me at one point. Instead of putting it down and then picking it up and then getting that whatever, while it's in your hand, you grab a hanger and do it right then and there. And now you've got this like room to breathe. Your life feels better because there's Seder, there's order, there's whatever in your life, right? So if I were to say that to you and you're like, that's a good idea, and I'm like, okay, good, starting now. Tonight, when you go to take your clothes off and change into your pajamas, whatever you're going to do, now you're just like, you're going to throttle me, okay? Change is difficult, and this is the same thing. Your husband has been doing this for a lot of years. He's probably doing it, predates you. He probably has role models who do this, okay? It's like trying to also, let's see, I've had another example of, what if I were to say to you, okay, stop yelling. No more yelling, zero tolerance for yelling. Look, we all work on yelling. It's a very important thing to work on. If we tried to go to shut that door, it just doesn't work. That's not how change happens. So how are we going to affect a change in our husband to make this better? So we're going to do it slowly. We're not going to have these crazy expectations of them. We're going to work with them. And first, it starts with working ourselves and understanding that it's not volitional. Right? How do you say volitional? It's not on purpose. He's not trying to torture us, okay? Unless he is, in which case get some help. Then maybe therapy, maybe he needs therapy, whatever. But for the most part, it's just being clueless. Okay. So here's one of the things that we need to understand, and this comes true for a lot more for women than men. Now you're saying that you're the one who's more.
Well, by the way, I'm so happy you veered into that because Ricky, I don't know if you heard at the beginning because maybe you came out a little bit after, but I am this husband. I'm the one who's constantly saying I'm sorry because I'm the one that keeps forgetting and is more forgetful and will make plans without asking him, etc., etc. So Ricky actually says the same thing. She says, my husband is the sensitive one. If I forget to buy one of his favorite dips on Shabbos, he'll say, I didn't think of him, and he takes it personally. So she's actually like exactly where I am, where if I forget my husband because I just forgot, not because I want to be mean to him, I'm not getting him his dip, then he gets upset. And she says, how do you then?
Okay, so you know what I need? I need a bell. We need to get me a bell because I'm about to tell you the secret to this entire thing. Okay, this is like the most important thing. If you get nothing else from this whole class, this is the thing to get. Now I've forgotten what it is. No, joking. Okay, so is that the if there is laughter in this area, that's it. That's the answer. Standing on one foot, standing on 2 feet, whatever. The answer is laughter. And I'm going to show you how to do that in a minute. But if there's anger and tension and you don't care about me, whatever, or when you forget the dip that he's, and you don't love me, you don't care about me, say, if you were to come and say, I forgot the dip, I'm sure that's more proof that I don't love you, or I don't know, sense of humor, or something like, I'll have to get you 2 dips next week, or I'll have to make it up to you in some way. Can I peel you a grape? Something like that. If there's lightness, if there's lightness in it, and he understands where you're coming from. And again, you can share with him some of the things I'm going to share with you about dealing with somebody who's clueless, okay? But the main answer to this is lightheartedness about it. Just not, and that starts, look, if someone's trying to hurt you purposely, there's no lighthearted. That lady is sitting in the car with the water bottle, and steam is coming out of her ears, out of her eyes, whatever, nostrils, whatever. She is upset. But if she understands he's just clueless, then maybe when she gets in the car, she says, by the way, I buckled everybody in, I got all the food ready, I dressed everybody, and she rattles off a list. Aren't I fantastic? And he'll say, yeah. Do you think he's about to say, excuse me, where's the water bottles? And if he did, which he still might, okay, if he did and say, hey, where's the water bottle? She could say, I did 999 things, and you forgot the one thing I didn't do. Whatever. Again, it's having a level of communication. Okay, so we're going to get there. Good question. Thank you for your input, and we're going to give this to.
She said she's going to try that. She's going to try humor.
Very good, humor. And I'm going to give you some other. Today we have a bulletproof plan for how to protect ourselves from clueless husbands, okay? Mm-hmm. Coming right up. Okay, here we go. Okay, here's the thing. If we expect instant thoughtfulness from a man who it doesn't come naturally to. Now, some women it doesn't come naturally to. Some people, okay? So, God made every person in a certain way, whatever, and he made some people very, very thoughtful, some people not so thoughtful. Some people who are not very thoughtful really, really worked on themselves and tried to be more thoughtful. Some people couldn't care less or it wasn't even on their radar, they didn't even whatever. But the point is to take personal affront that a person is a certain way. It's a recipe for misery, okay, for us to be miserable if we do that. So we have to understand that this is not a simple matter, that they are trying to do something for us. Okay.
I just want to add, because I feel like I'm not that I'm trying to be defensive, maybe I am a little bit, but I don't consider myself as not being a thoughtful person. I'm always thoughtful, but I'm just forgetful. It does not, there's so much going on in my brain at one time that when, let's say, for example, I'm thinking a million things and then I just want to eat. So I go into the store, I go get something to eat, I'm thinking a million things at the same time. I have to do this, I have to do that, I'm on the phone. Right. It just does not come into my head. I'm going to be coming home and my husband is sitting there.
You're
because
fantastic.
if I just thought about it for that 1 second and I didn't forget, or I was able to.
So here's the thing, you bring up a good point. I should have put that in my thing.
Only because I'm like, no, I'm not a thoughtless person. Oh, she's saying totally. Ricky's totally. She hears it. We have so much going on in our brains.
And so do our husbands, honestly.
Right.
I joke with my husband, I'm like, I know you're solving all the world's problems in there. Like, when you come out, you can compliment me.
Right. Okay, so that's fantastic. So it's not that they're thoughtless. I said it's that they're clueless, but it's also they're clueless and forgetful.
Okay, good.
So I'm going to add that. That's
good.
really
okay. I feel much better now.
yeah, that's fantastic. So it's forgetful and clueless. Okay. But for sure, when your husband says, "Where's my food?" Isn't there like, oh.
Yes, I feel terrible.
Deer caught in the highlights.
Yeah, and I'm like, here, take mine. Eat it. And he's like, I hate what you're eating.
Oh, good. They're good. Always buy something separate from what your husband eats. There are lessons here at the Ladies Talk Show. Welcome. But I get it. But here's the thing. That means you're always having to say you're sorry.
Yes,
and you're having to, hold on a second, you're having to say sorry because he is caused pain by your thoughtlessness 100%. And your forgetfulness when it's really, by your thoughtlessness, but it's really forgetfulness and cluelessness. These are really hard words to pronounce. You try this at all.
No, and then at some point, I'm sorry is like, you know what I'm saying? How many times?
Okay, we're going to get to the things. Okay, fine. Okay, so we have to understand that our feelings, women's feelings, are more like a dainty ballerina, and men's are more like a bull in a china shop. Okay, if we understand that, like for instance, our husband might say something like, "What was one of the other examples I get?" Let's see, what are the quizzes? Okay, so
water bottle.
Yeah, no. So he's turning in for the night, right? Good night. I'm going to bed. And for 20 years, the wife is saying, "Can you not say I'm going to bed? Can you say instead, why don't we go to bed? It's really late." Like, include me in your life. I'm part of your life. And then for 20 years, he's always, good night, I'm going to bed, So the thing is for a man often is much more harsh, much more, what's the word I'm looking for? Straightforward and blunt and, sometimes tactless, not tactful, whatever, So and a woman is like, can take sensitivity to every little thing. Now, it could be the other way around. There are parts of men that are like women and parts of women that are like men or whatever. I'm just giving generalizations just because it'll help. If you are the dainty ballerina, right, and your husband's the bull in a china shop, that you're going to feel like he's bad and wrong for being the way he is. Like, how could you not be sensitive? Well, he was born like that. Wouldn't it make as much sense for him to say, "Why are you so sensitive?" Well, maybe that's what he does say, but okay. But you know what I'm saying? Like, we're different. We are just different. And rather than being hurt by those differences, like we said, laughing, having joy, and having lightheartedness about it. Okay, so here's two things before we get into the practical. We're gonna give you the tool of the day. Before I give you that, I want to ask yourself, what mistakes in thinking am I making? Number one, that my husband is being thoughtless intentionally. Or in this case, Sarit is being thoughtless intentionally, okay?
And Ricky, you and me together. I'm throwing you under the bus with me.
Under the bus, okay? All right, fine. You'll come under the bus. Okay, so fine. Okay, fine. So number two, mistake in thinking that he should be more like me in sensitivity. He should be more sensitive. Number three, that he can change, that until he changes this, I can't be close to him. It's sad. And when he's that thoughtless, how am I going to be close to him? I'm sitting in the car with a water bottle thing. How am I going to be close to him? I don't even want to be with him, let alone be close to him. So those are mistakes in thinking. Now, second question, what mistakes in action am I taking? These are questions to ask yourself. So taking great offense at every act of cluelessness that he does. He does the water bottle. He makes the comment about the sister's chocolate mousse. Everything he does, right? That's a mistake in action. Pouting when he behaves in ways that are typical for a husband to be. Most husbands forget their wives' birthdays, and anniversaries. I fail to understand why this is a man's problem. It's the woman's problem. She didn't get the present. I don't think that means he's forgetful and thoughtless, not clueless, not that he's thoughtless. Of course he wants to get you a present. He's not doing it maliciously to pain you. Oh, well, if he loved me. Well, you know what? it's just, you can go that route and be the victim and be sad that he's not treating you properly, or the week before the birthday, the day before the birthday, whatever. Don't forget, my birthday's this week, or by the way, I've been seeing that outfit at such and such a place, or I love gift certificates, Amazon.
Email him a link. That's what I do.
There you go.
Email him a link. I'm happy. He's happy.
That's very good. And by the way, I bought something for myself from my husband, and he said, oh yeah, and I had put it on his desk or whatever. He said, oh yeah, you can have it. I said, can you do me a favor? Can you hand it to me? He's like, look what you gave me, okay? It's fine. It's totally fine. Get used to this. This is hard to wrap your... we have a whole show on that. What is it, gifting or something? I don't know.
Yeah.
It's humorous, like you're saying. You're like realizing your differences and just embracing it and making it like giggle-worthy.
That's right. Giggle-worthy. I love that. Okay, fine. Okay, what mistakes and actions is taking great offense at everything he does, pouting when he isn't exactly like you, and bearing a grudge for his behavior. Those are mistakes. Those get you nowhere. The closeness, gone. The feeling of wanting to be close, gone. These are mistakes in thinking.
Giving him the silent treatment in that car ride.
Silent
I don't think I would
treatment.
talk to him at all. I'd be like,
yeah,
sorry.
yeah. What's wrong?
Yeah, right, yeah,
Nothing.
exactly, right.
You
Yeah.
told her
Wait,
something.
I'm on my phone the whole time.
Yeah,
Yeah.
oh, I've got
Yeah.
an urgent thing.
Yeah.
Like, my husband is a jerk. Don't do that. Don't go there. Okay, fine. Okay, we're going to do the tools of the day. Ready? Everybody ready? Tools
Yes.
of the day.
Yes.
Here's the tool of the day. And I'm so mad I got something for this, but it didn't arrive in time. Okay. Because here's the tool. It's called the Clueless SHEILD. And I got a shield, but it didn't come. Okay, so the shield. I love the props. The props are so much fun. Okay, so the thing is, the Clueless SHEILD. What are we shielding ourselves? When our husband is clueless, right? Or I should say, forgetful. Clueless or forgetful. Now I have to change the whole thing. So clueless or forgetful. When he's that, right? We take it as thoughtless mistake. We need to understand he's clueless, and here are the tools to deal with it. Now, the tools I made are CLUE, clue. Okay? Okay, and I was going to write that on the shield. It said CLUE,
Yeah, like
okay?
that.
So clue. So get a clue. So when your husband does something clueless, right? He does, you know what? You're going to read it. You're still going to read it as thoughtless. But maybe for this class, if you could just change thoughtless to clueless, that's a game changer. That's like from before you were like beaten down every day and the victim and whatever, and now you're like, oh, he was born that way. Let me see what can I do with this? I was handed lemons. How can I make some lemonades? What do I need to do? Let me add some sweetener, some laughter. Let me add that. How do I make this so that this can work for me? Because it ain't working. It ain't working. When your husband has to come and say, I'm sorry, or Sarit or Ricky have to come and say, I'm sorry all the time. If their husbands, if they have a conversation with the husband and say, I need you to have a brain transplant here. I need a frontal lobotomy, or I'd rather have a frontal lobotomy. No, I'd rather have a bottle in front of me than a frontal lobotomy. Okay, so thank you. Okay, so thank you. But anyway, so I need you to have a frontal lobotomy and to shift something in your thinking, which is, it is not thoughtless. It's clueless and forgetful. It's clueless and forgetful. It's just those things. It's not. Do you think I don't love you? Like, hello? Do you think I don't love you? By the same token, people who feel like their husband doesn't love them, give them the benefit of the doubt. It's clueless and forgetful. Okay, so we're going to do the clue. C.
Okay, so wait, you're saying as women who are the ones that are forgetful, we should sit our husbands down and explain this CLUE to them.
I would.
Okay, good. I'm going to give my husband a clue. Here's the clue, honey. When I'm forgetful, not thoughtless, but forgetful, here's the clue.
Right, that's good. That's
good.
Fantastic.
Fine.
In other words, this is
Okay.
for some people who themselves are thoughtless or clueless and forgetful, not thoughtless. This is very good tool for your spouse to use so that he doesn't get hurt by you all the time, and you spend all your time saying, "I'm sorry, I'm sorry." Well, I'm sorry. Ooh, I'm sorry. Okay, here we go. Ready? Okay,
Yes,
I'm going to do it this time.
exactly.
I think I got this down. Okay, now
Yes,
you know
I
which
think
one to
you
clap.
got very good already.
Except
You're getting this.
That's the wrong thing. Hold on a second. Wait.
Oh, good. They're clapping.
They're clapping for
Yeah, they're
okay, so
clapping
here we
for
go.
the bottom.
Well, people who don't watch must think we're absolutely insane. But okay,
Yeah.
here we go.
Nice. No, you did it. Oh, you're such a
I think-
perfectionist. The
okay.
front of it
That's
hit, then the back came
Okay,
out.
all right. Okay, so here we go. Communicate. The first one is communicate. This is the CLU. Communicate. So open up a dialogue with your husband. Tell him sometimes he says things harshly, or sometimes he feels like you feel invisible, right? Invisible. We felt invisible. We felt like we're just annoyed because we just didn't feel like we were there. So this happens. Does he give you the leeway or the permission to say, like when he says, "Is the water bottle there, dear?" Right? And you're about to, and you can tell him, and my head is about to pop off because I feel so not gotten and so unappreciated. I would like to be able to say to you, I did got the kids in their seatbelt, got all the kids dressed, got the food done, I don't have the water bottles. And you to be okay with that. And you to say, oops, sorry, no, I'll get the water bottles, hold on, and turn the car around and go get the water bottles, or go into 7-Eleven, or get me a Perrier, something, whatever it is. Do I need your permission so that when you do something that I perceive as thoughtless, and this is you perceiving it as, well, that wasn't thoughtless, no, whatever, I wasn't being harsh, I was just saying it like it is. No. But by my assessment, I feel like unthought of by you. So when that happens, I want to be able to put words in your mouth. Is that okay? I say, like what? And give him that example. Give him the example of the water bottle. Give him the example of, when you say I'm going to bed and I'm sitting there at my computer and I'm so upset because I feel thoughtless. You don't know what happened. You've gone off to bed. You're snoring already, okay? And I'm sitting there. I don't want to get I don't want to go to bed. I don't want to be in the same room with you. Whatever it is, when I'm feeling that way, I need to be able to have a communication strategy so that I can get over it. So I will work very, very hard at seeing things you do as clueless and forgetful, not as thoughtless, but I need to be able to communicate with you. Is that okay with you? And most husbands, I think, would say yes. If he doesn't, then maybe write him a letter, or maybe harp on it, maybe try him again in a month or a week or something like that. But what you're trying to get the agreement to, and what you're trying to communicate to him is, rather than him feeling like he's all the time has to come home every day and say, I'm sorry, that when he does something that upsets you, you can communicate it right away. Saying, that hurt my feelings, that now there's more distance. If in the car, the lady had turned to him and said, do you know how much I did? And then you asking me for the water bottle. That's just going to make things worse, because now you're pouting and he's pouting, and the kids are like in the back seat going, I thought we were going to have fun today, right? So it's your responsibility to set it up in a way that doesn't cause this kind of damage. So that would be, again, using laughter. Okay. So again, you can give one last example, then we'll go to L. So you can tell him privately after the family dinner. I wouldn't say in front of him, you like the most better than my brisket, are you crazy? But afterwards, you can say, listen, when you say a comment like, her food is so delicious, later on, when we're alone, I'm going to say, hey, you really meant to say that my brisket was the best in the world. The only reason you said about the chocolate mousse being delicious is because your sister just lost her job and is totally depressed, and that would lift her spirits. Right? Exactly. Yeah. Okay, fine. Okay, that's the C. That's communicate.
And by the way, while you're pausing, Linda, one of our Instagram fans, has her 2-year anniversary today.
Happy
2 years,
anniversary.
yeah, exactly. We should have music also.
Hey, we should get the birthday cake.
Yeah,
that's okay. Happy anniversary. That's fine. 2 years.
Yeah,
that's
2 years
terrific.
is huge.
That's great. Now you should know.
It should be 200 more.
Amen. But also you should know the first 2 years of marriage there's a lot of healing going on. A lot of healing for things that happened in your childhood, things that your husband did to you, things that you did to yourself. There's a lot of healing that goes on. And after the 2-year anniversary, there's a whole new window that opens up of closeness, of shared memories and shared shared healing for both sides. So I wish you a happy anniversary, many, many more. And you should grow closer each and every day to 120.
Amen.
Okay, let's do the L. Ready?
Yes.
L is learn what works. There have been times in every person who's listening here today, there have been times where your husband has done something, quote unquote, hurtful or thoughtless, right? And you did something or you reacted in a way that really worked. Maybe mentally you said, all right, I'm not going to let that ruin the day. and you wiped it off the board as if it never happened. Good on you, okay? Maybe you said to him, oh, that kind of hurt my feelings. And he said, oh, I didn't mean that. Good on you. That's another strategy. Learn what works in your marriage, in your relationship. You've got a good, what's that, A/B testing, you know? Like you got a good soundboard, a good way to test things out and try them out. Learn what works. So it's very crucial to understand that every person was made in a certain way, and everybody's in a growth curve on that. Hopefully, you know, there are people who don't change and grow, and it's very, very sad. I think everybody grows. I don't know if there's people. I don't know. That's above my pay scale. I don't know the answer to that, but I just know we hope everyone grows. We want to be, certainly if other people, we want to be the one that's always growing. You know, I meet these people. You know, they're like 87 years old, and they're sitting there on their iPhones. So they say, "Oh, did you see this new app?" And I'm like, who are you? Yeah. I have a story. My aunt, oh, God bless her, she's so awesome. So one of my kids came in from a haunted thing or whatever that they had, and it came in, plopped down, and said, and my aunt is 90, I think she was 98 at the time, 99, different aunt than my aunt I usually talk about, but a different aunt.
Not Aunt Flo.
Not my Auntie Flo. This is a different aunt, and they plops down. He goes, "Oh my gosh, it was crazy, this haunted thing." Whatever they said. "Oh yeah, what happened?" He said, "We were chased by zombies." And my aunt, at 98 years old, turned, "Oh my goodness, you should have gotten a selfie with the zombie." I'm like, who are you? Who are you? Like, is that awesome? She knew what a zombie was. She knew what a selfie is. And I don't know, the whole thing. I just thought this is somebody who's growing and changing and connected and just with it. And first of all, this person's driving, even maybe sometimes a little at night, not so much, but, driving herself to here and there to play bridge and mahjong or whatever. But anyway, the point I'm making, we want to be that person. We want to be the person who is at 98, like adaptable and growing. And it starts here right now. So here's the issue. You learning what your husband, what works in this particular situation. Let them grow. You need to make space for them to grow. You need to not chastise them everything that they do wrong. You need to really give space for them to grow into being a more thoughtful person and a more less forgetful person and a more clued in person. And that is by learning what works. Okay.
Yeah, so by the way, for me, Leah, and our end, maybe Ricky, this will work for you too, is if I give my husband a lot of I show him that I feel bad and I'm sorry. Like I walked in with the food and he says, "Oh, where's mine?" And I'm like, "Oh my gosh, I'm so sorry. Totally forgot. I'm going right now to get you something right now. What do you want? I'm going." And he's like, "No, totally. I'll get something from the kitchen." But he just feels as though I'm not just
your apology.
Right. I'm not just like shrugging it off like, "Ugh, okay, hello. I was busy. I didn't remember."
Right,
like I really make him feel as though I really do feel bad.
Okay, so now I'm going to be tiny bit politically incorrect. What you did is gorgeous and perfect. I'm not getting on your case. I'm saying what you did is gorgeous and perfect. But the politically incorrect thing to say is men are not so good at that.
Okay. But this is for the women. Ricky,
that's for the women. That's
you
for
can
Ricky.
use Ricky.
Because
I think the men,
and anybody else who's having that issue.
Yes.
But men aren't going to do this whole of they're like, "Oh, sorry. Well, but I was really upset. I said I was sorry." It's okay. So good on you. It's fantastic, but don't expect that from your husbands. Okay, fine. Okay, so learn what works. Remember what worked last time. Every time your husband does something clueless, are you able to keep closeness, even though he did it? Okay, that's what you're working towards. That's what you're growing towards. Learning to joke about it, learning to be lighthearted about it. Okay, next one. What comes after CL? Let's see who can spell. You. Okay, fine. You. Understand that our sensitivity, a woman's sensitivity in particular, can happen in men also, but women's sensitivity is about 10 times more than a man's. Okay, so expecting men to be like us is a bad idea. It's a really bad idea because now we're sensitive and we're like, how could he have done that? Well, he's not as sensitive as you, so of course he's going to do that. But there is this overriding thing, and I get this from a lot of my students, is this whole thing of expecting him to be just as sensitive and just as caring. And there's a whole movement, the whole movement of men being more like women, being more touchy-feely. You know, in the workplace, you need to understand where a woman's coming from. I'm not knocking any of that. Maybe it's all true, and maybe that's a way that they should grow. But they wouldn't have these classes for men on how to sensitivity training if they didn't need it. Okay, if they weren't born a different way. Okay, maybe they're societally grown that way. Who knows? I happen to think it was probably more birth than nurture. What is that right? Birth.
Nature versus nurture.
Thank you. I knew there was more nature than nurture, but whatever. It doesn't make any difference. When the rubber hits the road, we need to be able to deal with these differences. Okay, so understanding, this is you, clue. Understanding the differences will make us take much less offense, and that will cause less pain in your life. That's what we want. Okay, you have less pain in your life, because if he's doing it on purpose, that's very painful. If he's doing it because he's not as sensitive as you, okay, is it great? Maybe not, but it's not. It's 1/10 of the pain that it causes us. Okay. Basically, the point here I wanted to make is being angry at your husband for the way God made him doesn't seem like it's very fair. So, should he grow in this? Of course. Should you be more lighthearted about it? Absolutely, because if you're more lighthearted about it and recognize where it's coming from, the pain isn't as great. Okay.
My joke is, why are you mad, dear? Because you're not me.
Yeah, exactly.
That's
right.
Awesome. You said that to your husband?
No, it's just like a joke I make with myself. Like,
Yeah, right,
or I mean, you
right.
could say it to your
Right,
husband.
right.
Because you're not me.
Right. Okay, let's go to E. E. Does anyone know this anymore? The A, B,
Yeah.
C.
Oh,
Anyone?
yes,
This is
sign
E. Okay,
language,
there we go.
yes,
See,
of course, yes.
I think that's as far as I can get.
Yeah.
I don't know. Okay. E is for evaluate. So you want to evaluate your own mistakes in thinking. And here are some of the questions. So you're going to look inside yourself, and rather than pointing your husband of why he's not the way you think he should be and how clueless he is and how upsetting it is and that he's bad and wrong, you want to ask yourself this. This is a very powerful questions that will help you to get over. You can be sitting in there. He just asked you about the water bottles, and you can go through this evaluation, self-evaluation in your own mind, and it will help to calm you down and be closer. Okay, number 1, am I being too judgmental? Am I being harsh on him? Like, what did he know? Yeah, I did all these things. He didn't know I did all these things. He didn't know I buckled everybody else. Maybe for all he knows that my 6-month-old, 1-year-old, and 3-year-old all buckled themselves in. What does he know? Does he know what it takes to get them all dressed? And does he know what I made for lunch and that I didn't he doesn't know. So am I being judgmental about who he is? If the situation was reversed and I was on my emails and he came out and I sat there, I might have asked him for a water bottle also. Okay? Very powerful question. Am I being controlling? Am I trying to, these are, again, you're evaluating yourself. The E for clue, C-L-U-E, you're evaluating. Am I being controlling? Am I trying to get him to do what I want him to do? And is he just, like you said, he's not being me. He's not doing what I would want to do. Am I being a perfectionist? Am I expecting him to, so we're at the table and he complimented in a very superlative way his sister over my food. That was not very nice, but how perfectionist, is he allowed to make a mistake? Just chill. Like how perfectionist, does he need to be perfect to be able to get along with you? Does anybody? Are you perfect to get along with him? So am I being a perfectionist? Am I being too demanding? Am I being unforgiving? Am I holding on grudges because he said something a few days ago or he said something just now and I'm just like, let it go, breathe, okay? Am I being very quick to blame my husband for ruining the whole day? Am I making him the scapegoat for my whole life? That's a huge one. We have a whole class on making your husband the scapegoat. You can look it up.
Yes, check it out.
Okay, check it out.
Facebook,
okay, so
and in our link.
The point here with with evaluating him and evaluating yourself is to just look at how judgmental and harsh are you being on him. If you can ease up. And if you evaluating yourself and you can ease up on that, again, we're looking for less pain for yourself and more closeness in the marriage. That's what we're trying to get to. Okay, fine. So I'm going to open it up for any questions we have. Did any questions come in?
Yes, we have
and then
questions.
and then
also
I'm going to
for any of our viewers that came in later on, definitely this is a show you want to watch. So check it out. We save all our shows to our Facebook page, the Ladies Talk Show. with Leah Richheimer, and it's also in the link in our bio.
Okay, great.
Okay, so we have from someone who says, so are we just meant to give up and resign ourselves to their seemingly selfish behavior?
Excellent question. Thank you very much for that question. So a seamless...
See, we know she says selfish. She's still stuck on
calling
the
it selfish.
selfish.
Right. So the question is, are we supposed to just put up with his poor behavior? So the issue is that, again, rather than think of it as selfish, thinking of it as clueless and forgetful, we'll shift that for you. The other issue is that if you tried everything we did here, you did the whole clue. So there's something digging around. Clueless, CLUE. If you are doing those tactics and he's still just unbelievably thoughtless, it could be that he's got, that it might be something you need to go into therapy about. Because if you're getting pained all the time by your husband, it's not a good direction in the marriage. And again, if you yourself can realize, he's not perfect, and if you can realize yourself, he's not malicious, he's not doing it out of meanness, then maybe you can make some headway on this. But to answer your question, it's not like you're putting up with it. It's that your shoulders are getting broader. You're letting him do more without making huge fusses about it, and you're trying to lighten it up with some laughter and some levity to make it so that he himself learns what's painful to you, rather than yelling at him, why'd you shut the door? Why'd you go to bed without asking me? Whatever you say, didn't, dear, he slams the door and you, didn't you mean to, and you open the door and go in, didn't you mean to say, why don't we go to bed? Or is there anything you want to talk to me about before you go to bed, dear? Because I'm heading to bed. And he'll kind of laugh and go, yeah, okay. He's not going to be mad at you because he realized he's the one, he's at least not having to say sorry, okay?
Right, and you said it also in when we had our first classes, when we started, you had also mentioned that is he like that with everyone, meaning is he just selfish with you, or is it something that if you see that he's just in general, that's part of his personality, then you can't really consider him selfish. You had said you really have to see, is he just being mean to you?
Or is he just forgetful everywhere he goes?
Yeah, because then that means it's not, you can't really take that personally. So
that's fine. Okay, so good. So I'm going to wrap up.
Yes.
So the answer to the question, why do our husbands need to say, I'm sorry every single day? The answer is, number one, because they really are clueless and forgetful. They're constantly saying and doing things that hurt our feelings, so that's why. And number two, because we are so hypersensitive that just about everything that they do upsets us, and we need to learn to not get so bent out of shape and use the clue tools in order to be able to bring them close. So there's two sides to the coin. One our husband needs to work on a little bit, and we can help him do that, and one we need to work on a little bit. So here's the wrap-up. Secret of the day: change your thinking from thoughtlessness to cluelessness and forgetfulness, okay? And if we can recognize that they are not intentionally, our husbands are not trying to intentionally hurt us, that they don't have the sensitivity that we were born with, we'll be much happier and we'll be much closer. And here's the homework for the week. Can I give it in the show?
Yes.
Okay.
Yes.
One time this week, when you recognize that your husband is doing something clueless or forgetful, use one of the clueless SHEILD strategies. Number one, clue, C-L-U-E. Number one, communicate. Number two, learn what works. Number three, understanding your heightened sensitivity. And number four, evaluate your own mistakes in thinking.
Yeah, by the way, Linda said actually that you're so right, and it's a two-way street. So I think, Linda, you're part of Ricky and my team. You're on the Ricky and Sarit team,
there you
where
go.
she said her husband is sensitive, but he greatly appreciates apologies that are sincere. So
fantastic. Great show, everybody. Thanks for being with us. This is the Ladies Talk Show with your host, Leah Richheimer. See you next week.